Hey guys, and welcome to Cruise Buoys Story Time. This is a time where we tell you about a few sort of stories and situations that you may or may not see in our normal regular videos. Now for this week's story time, it involves actually two stories, so a bit of a bonus, but in both situations it got a bit heated, and in one, security had to be called. So if you really want to find out what happened, better stay tuned. Welcome back, and just before we go into our stories today, I just want to take the opportunity to ask you to go into our video, subscribe, hit that like button, and it just helps our channel to grow and to bring you new and even more content. And if you really are enjoying what we produce as well, we can be found on Instagram, TikTok and Patreon, and we do have a website which is www.cruiseboys.com. So the first story that I want to share with you happened when we were on Costa Toscana, and let's just put this sort of into context. So on some cruise ships, they will give you beach towels in your room. Now, if you do not return these beach towels at the end of your cruise, you will be charged a fee. So on Costa Toscana, it was €20 per towel. So one day we decided to go out to the outside pool, and Josh was with us and he wanted to go for a swim. So we found 3 sun loungers right by the pool, and Tristan and I laid out our towels, sat down, decided to jump on Instagram live, and Josh went for a swim and left his towel on the sun lounger. We noticed after a while, whilst we were doing the live, that there was a little boy that came along and he sat on Josh's sun lounger, which I thought, okay, this is a bit strange, being that there's so many other sun loungers around that were actually vacant. And then he proceeded to grab Josh's towel, put it around his waist and try to walk away. We noticed what had happened and then basically stopped him. Now, English isn't his first language, so I believe they were Spanish. It was a Spanish family, and his mum was sunbathing his mum and dad were actually sunbathing a few sort of rows back from us, and saw a little bit of the commotion that was going on, and she came over and started yelling at us in Spanish. So in sort of the broken Spanish English, we were sort of explaining, hang on, that's our son's towel, he's in the pool, and she was trying to say, well no, that's my son's towel, he's always had it on. And I think it got a little bit heated, and I understand this because, you know, people don't want to have to pay out an additional fee if they don't have their towels with them. So she took the little boy over to where they were sitting, and they were sort of ruffling around looking for the towels, and then sort of came back and there was this exchange. But in the end, we were on the Insta Live, and we had pretty much been filming a little bit of Josh in the pool and a bit of us, and we actually had everything on camera as to what had happened. So we basically had to show her and say, look, we've got it all on camera. So your son's just basically come along, sat down, taken Josh's towel, and then tried to make off with it.
Towel thievery. No, that's Josh's. Justin, that's Josh's towel. Yes. It's not, that's Josh's towel.
I don't know, he dropped it somewhere. So we suspect that this little boy had probably had the fear of God put in him about losing his towel, and then had lost his towel and then decided to go and find another one, which was Josh's. So we called this the infamous towel gate scenario. But in the end, I think it got resolved, but we had a lot of dirty looks from the family, and I don't know why, because we didn't do anything wrong. The second story I want to talk about today is one that happened on a cruise last year when we went on the Sky Princess up the Norwegian Fjords with some vloggers and friends of ours. Now, in this situation, we like to go to a bar called Good Spirits. Now, Good Spirits is a bar on most Princess ships, and on the Sky Princess in particular, it's very popular because they do very different types of drinks. However, the space where it actually is quite small. It's kind of like a corridory cross section of the ship. So when we got there, we all decided to sit on one side of the bar in the seating area, and the bar staff came over and asked us whether we could move into the center of the actual of the bar, because there was like this sort of bumpy out bit in the bar where everyone could sort of fit in and we weren't actually blocking people. So we all sat there, and then a couple of us had to quickly leave the table to go to the bathroom, back to our cabins. So we asked if, you know, they could just save our seats while we went. When I was away and in the cabin, I was getting these frantic email or messages from Tristan saying, quickly get downstairs ASAP, it's all kicked off, you need to come down. So I left the room and went down, and what had actually transpired was there was a lady and her husband, and they had walked into the bar, were looking around for some seats, it was a bit crowded, and asked whether the seats where our group was sitting were free, and they said, well, no, they're actually at the toilet, or they're just coming back in a sec, they're just at the cabin. So this lady and her husband walked off, and then came around, grabbed some chairs, reefed them out, and then just took them. And one of the other vloggers or content creators that were with us was like, oh my gosh, how rude. And this lady she just full on kicked off. So she was saying things like, just because you're vloggers, you think you own the ship. Now, I just want to say, we, like any other passenger, are passengers. We're normal paying passengers. So this was not like a free gift from Princess or anything, and we don't think we own the ship. We're just a normal regular passenger like everyone else. So it got a bit heated, and there was a bit of sort of abuse being hurled at our group, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, security had materialized, and the bar staff were just explaining the situation, and the security had to go and settle this lady down, sit there and talk to her and just say, you know, this, you can't just go and do this. So when I finally got there, I could feel that there was a bit of tension, and you could cut it with a knife. And then as I sat down, I looked over, and this lady just sat there with her husband just glaring at us for probably like an hour, and we were just like, oh, forget them, let's just keep drinking. And then we thought it was all over. So when, after a couple of, like an hour or however long, the lady and her husband got up, they decided that they would come make a beeline to our table. But as they got there, they decided, oh, we're just going to shovel your chairs while we actually walk past. And then they sort of walked out, and the bar staff were kind of like, now come on, go. And they went and stood on the other side of the bar and just sat there on the railing looking over and just like giving us death stares. And I was just like, what is your problem? So let us know what you think of that situation. I mean, do you think it was unfair that we were holding chairs while people went to toilets and went to cabins? I know the bar was full, but do you think that lady had a right to come over and just reef chairs and try and take them from us? Or do you just think, you know, that people shouldn't hold chairs? We want to know your thoughts and your comments. And what would you have done in this situation? So thanks for joining us once again. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you in the next installment. If you want to know more about any of those cruises that we had, you can go into our YouTube channel and you can see this video up here for Sky Princess. And you can also see a video here for Costa Toscana. So that's it for this week. So thank you very much for tuning in. And until next time, bye. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications, like, comment, and share.